Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gabriel podcast, and welcome to this week's Building in Public episode. I'm going to be creating this new format where I'm documenting what I've done in this week, building towards the life that I envision. Anyways, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name's Gabriel. I'm a filmmaker, business owner, and in general, I'm just doing this life thing, figuring stuff out. And for this week, I'm going to talk about 3 things that I learned this past week, building my business, my filmmaking, and my life as a whole. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on those as well. Business, I'm publishing a fashion brand, but I'm at the beginning stage, so I'm having to do all the pre-pro, so all of the storyboarding, the actual creating the brand from the beginning. We don't have the physical product yet, we're not in selling, we haven't published the brand yet. We're doing all of the pre-startup to the business, so there's a lot of work there. Filmmaking, I want to pursue filmmaking as a passion. I love making films, I love acting, I love the art of film as a whole. I have a deep passion for the art form of film. And in general, as a person, I like fitness, self-improvement, reading books, learning, etc. So just so you get a little bit of a gist of who I am and what I like and what I want to achieve. Now I'm going to get into the 3 things that I learned this past week that are helping me towards that goal and towards, pursuing my business, pursuing my filmmaking, pursuing me as a man. In general, this life thing, if I'm honest. Alright, number 1 is this thing I saw, this concept from Dan Coe. It's not really got a name, it's just the ideal lifestyle concept. And pretty much it goes that any action and any system, any goal you set to be in line with your ideal lifestyle. So pretty much how that goes is, I probably need to go deeper on this as well, but as it goes, have a clear vision of what your ideal day looks like. So what work do you want to get done? When do you want to wake up? How much work do you want to do? What do you want to work on? Do you want to go to the gym? When do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And in general, just a clearer vision of what you want to do and your ideal lifestyle. A normal day, because not every day is going to be the same. Days will differ depending on work obligations or errands or tasks or, that's just the way life happens. But your normal ideal day, write it down, get it clear in your head, and then any decisions you make and any goals you set and any things you start to pursue them with the ideal lifestyle in mind. And if something goes against that, then maybe it's not the right thing you should be doing, depending on what that is. If you're building a high income skill and you think that you need to spend 10 hours to work on it, to learn it, and you don't want to be working 10 hours for the rest of your life, then maybe it's just a small period to get you to there. And then after that, you can start working the amount of hours you want to work. Again, I could go clearer on this, but I'll tell you guys my ideal lifestyle. I want to be working 4 hours in the morning, from 7 until 1. I know that's not 4 hours, that's 6 hours, but pretty much I want to get a few walks in there with a few breaks, have some breakfast, and in general, I want my day to go. I wake up, I do some gratitude journaling, I do some writing. I then get to doing some focused, deep work, whether that's on my fashion business or on my filmmaking business, most likely my fashion business. Then I go for a walk, I do some thinking, maybe I write in my journal. Then I come back, I do some work on my personal brand, I build that, I write content, I write social scripts and stuff like that. And in general, this isn't fully clarified yet, and I haven't got a clear vision yet because I simply don't know what the exact aim is yet. I know that I want to be making films and I know that I want to be creating a big business, but I don't exactly know how each day is going to go. I'm getting there, I'm clearer. I know that, after 2 o'clock, I want to be going to the gym, I want to go for my run, I want to go for a walk, I want to chill out in the evenings, I want to be able to read, meditate, study. So I have a fairly clear vision of how most of my day goes, but I don't have the exact tasks for the work block in the morning, for example. But I don't want to be working more than 4 to 5 hours a day. That is my aim, that's my goal. I know that might sound insane, but Dan Coe shares this concept about creative thinking. And if you are of clear mind and you set constraints to achieve a goal, then it makes your mind think of creative solutions in order to achieve that goal. And I really resonated with that because I realized that whenever I went on walks more often, went for longer walks, or did meditation or did more writing, I felt like I was coming up with more solutions to deeper problems and my brain was just way more clear. So yeah, thinking with your ideal lifestyle concept, write down an ideal day, and it doesn't have to be perfect. For me, it's not perfect yet. I don't know exactly. I'm 20 years old. You know, it will develop over time. But get a clearer image of your ideal lifestyle, and then with your ideal lifestyle, you can then mold the actions and set targets and set goals to achieve the ideal lifestyle. The second thing I learned this week is cutting off things that don't benefit you, or you do just for the sake of it. I like being alone a lot, and I go to some lessons. I'm not going to say what. I go to some lessons and people ask me to go out and go for a drink. I would end up going because most of the time I don't want them to feel bad. I started to realize that when I was going out with these guys and this group of people, I actually realized that I'd rather be at home studying, working, reading, you know, even watching a film, because I like to study film and I like to watch films. And in general, I think getting in your mind that it's okay to cut things off that you don't want to do or aren't benefiting you in your pursuits. It's okay to not want to go out. It's okay to not want to do those things. It's okay to rather be at home and work on your business or study or read or go on a walk. Like, it's completely fine, and it's probably better if you do so. But also not just cutting things off that you don't want to do, but also cutting off things that you have to not do. You know what I mean? So if you have a bad habit of going out to drink and going out to party and having bad habits in general, cutting them off will pay you dividends. I've realized over the past while now, not just the past week, but in general, I've realized that achieving your goals and pursuing success is more about removing more friction than it is about creating more clarity. And that was an interesting thing that I realized, is that I realized that the more things you remove, like social media, like meaningless outings, and a bunch of other things, you know, I mean, mainly it's social media, but just removing all the distractions and removing all the friction is pretty much like 70% of actually getting closer to your goals. I mean, that 30% is hard. It's the action part, it's the actual doing part, it's the creating systems and logical methods of achieving your goals. But the actual removing friction is a much larger part that we don't think about. So removing friction, cutting things off is the second thing I learned this week. And number three, the third thing I learned this week is systems thinking. So I'm not I haven't got a complete grasp on this yet because it's quite a big method. Pretty much in all actions that you do and all goals that you have and everything that you do in life, you pursue in life, approaching it with a systems thought process of how do I learn that? How do I achieve that? How do I get there? So for example, when you say, oh yeah, I want to make 10K a month, well, yeah, okay, that's cool. But it's not a simple, I just want to make 10K a month. There's a big system behind that of, I need to make 1K a month. How am I going to make 1K a month? Well, I need to learn sales. I need to learn marketing. I need to sell this product. I need to sell my services. And then you go from 1K to 2K. And how do you do that? You do the same. You increase your scalability. You just thinking in like methods and systems, I think, is a big thing and something that we tend to go over. Actually, we tend to give these outcomes, I want to achieve this, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have that car, I want to be an amazing filmmaker or stuff like that. But the systems behind it are what actually makes you achieve the goal, you know, and of course the action. You know, I've not talked about that, but the action, of course, comes first. If you don't do anything, then nothing will happen. But thinking in systems and thinking about how something gets done and being deep and thoughtful about how that thing gets done is one of the biggest things that you need to do. And in general, I need to do as well. Achieve your goals and achieve that vision, achieve that goal life that you have. And again, all these lessons are for me as well. I'm not just, you know, preaching. I'm talking from what I've learned this week. So yeah, I think that's everything. I've been yapping for a bit longer than I thought I was going to be. I hope someone enjoyed that out there. I know it's a little bit, the format's a little bit mixed up at the moment. I'm figuring that out, but as I go, I'll improve. That's why I'm doing this. Yeah, hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next Monday.